Is this thing on? Welcome back to Big Mouth and fancy seeing you here in June. A very welcome, my friends, and especially my enemies. Come in, sit down, no touching. I don't do the touching. Hello and welcome to my Doctor Who Season 12, Episode 6 reaction of Praxeus. Is that how you say it? Whatever it is, I'm calling it Praxeus. Sorry about that, I'm just clearing my throat. So yes, welcome to my episode reaction. And you know what? I finally get what Chris Chibnall is actually trying to do. I get it. I actually get it, right? Because it was really hard for me to get used to Moffat when he took over from David. It was so different. But I genuinely enjoyed Season 5. Season 6 was awesome, but I never really liked Amy. And in Season 5, I wanted Amy to die because I didn't like her. And I wanted Rory and the Doctor to travel together, but always remember Amy and to be fueled by that love for Amy and her memory. Didn't happen, but I never really warmed to Amy. But I love Kaz. I think she's a great actor. And I kind of got used to her. And I really enjoyed Matt Smith a lot more after she left the show, unfortunately. I just didn't get into the character. But lots of people loved Amy Pond. And that's cool. And in fact, I preferred Clara. And I love the whole mystery box, who is she thing. Not a lot of people did. And they say, well, she's just a plot device. So what? Is that a bad thing? You know, people, this is what makes me laugh. But anyway, I understand now what Chris Chibnall is actually doing. This is a Doctor Who that's not entertaining, but extremely interesting. An educational Doctor Who. Do you remember the children's TV programme they used to play at our schools called Look and Read? Remember Wordy? Well, basically, this is what these non-arc Doctor Who episodes are. They're kind of an interesting little dramatic tale, but they're more educational than entertainment. And basically, the Doctor is Wordy. Some of you must remember Look and Read and Wordy. I am not being sarcastic. I'm not being an a-hole. I actually think it's good. I get it now. It's a mixture of entertaining, compelling arc story this season, right? With the Timeless Child, which to me is more of an era-defining arc than a season 12 arc. But you've got this thing about this previous Doctor we don't know about and potentially more Doctors coming out. But then you've got an episode like Praxeus that makes a massive piece of commentary like Orphan 55 did. This time it's about plastic. Now, as usual, the dude bros have come out and said, too political, you're talking down to us. No, I found it very educational and very, very interesting. And all those kids watching would have learnt something. And this is why I'm comparing it to Look and Read. I get what Chibnall does. Jodie Whittaker is a very different Doctor to the others. I mean, each Doctor is different to the other. But this is a different Doctor. As I say, this is more of a children-friendly Doctor. This is the Doctor that's trying to teach you something about the real world. And I'm not saying the others didn't. But it's a very educational Doctor Who vision. It's something that you could play at schools and the kids watching it could learn something while seeing great production value, great CGI, and this is what Chibnall's attempting to do. I see it now. So while people call it boring, and this is what they were doing in season 11, now compared to what Moffat and Davies were doing, very different. Now you could call it boring, but I think it's educational. This is the way they're going down this. And I like Praxeus. I think it's a really good episode. I love the fact that it's spotted about in different countries. I love the international casting. I love the subplot about the two husbands. One's obviously not a NASA. He's kind of a British astronaut, and the other one's kind of a police officer who kind of is worried about his husband. And I like those two characters, and I like the little love story. And I think it was very clever how they made us care about that in a short space of time, because we'll probably never see them again. Actually, I wouldn't mind seeing those three again. And the young woman, I thought she was brilliant. Already forgotten her name, but I don't know any of their names. I don't remember names. My other subscribers will tell you that. So I thought it was a really, really good episode. I loved the way they had this kind of alien who looked like a normal human being trying to find a way to cure this problem because her people had already been destroyed. And I spoke about this on this morning's DCEU Daily, which is uploading as I record this. about my Superman idea. And I think it's great commentary because we know governments around the world are already looking for planets in space where we could live on, right? Because they know this world's dying. And this is exactly, she's come here, but she's spreading a disease to cure it for herself, right? So that's very interesting commentary to me as well. No, basically, you will not find a television series in the history of television series where every episode is awesome, epic, and exciting, right? There's no such program. You can look at classic Who with rose-coloured glasses, but I can promise you there's episodes that are not that interesting for those of you who are classic Who fans, but keep on kind of crapping on, New Who. And it's funny, I follow one person on Twitter, and he kind of says, I don't want to talk about New Boo, as he calls it, anymore. But he keeps on making commentary that triggers people. That's the thing. I respect everyone's opinion, but don't tell me you don't want people talking to you about New Boo anymore, but you keep on triggering people all the time. That's the thing about it. I think it was a really, as I say, solid episode. We've had two really solid kind of self-contained episodes. As I say, probably the only one who appreciates what Orphan 55 is. And I would have probably appreciated the season 11 episodes if I understood what Chibnall was doing. He's not trying to make a 45-minute piece of pure entertainment. He's coming at this like the original creator of Doctor Who did, to make this an educational piece of sci-fi and nothing more. But what he's done this season, he's giving us the arc. He's giving us a very exciting, era-defining arc. And it will continue in episodes 9 and 10. And we've had Captain Jack. So you're going to get these self-contained episodes. Now, as I say, people call them preachy. And it's funny how people call commentary on plastic or pollution or commentary about the environment political. The safety of our fellow human beings and the wildlife and our own planet that we sit on isn't political. That isn't politics. Politics is just noise. This is about our own survival, the survival of the beautiful world we live in. Doctor Who should be doing this. After everything's said and done with on-demand views, Doctor Who gets about 5.5 million viewers. That's a massive amount of people because don't forget there's so many kind of things you can watch. That's pretty good. And I believe Doctor Who could do better in the ratings, but you've got the ears of all those people. So surely Doctor Who is the bestest place to make commentary about how we're treating the planet, the environmental situation. That is a fact. The science is there. You can deny it as much as you want. And getting angry because you reckon Doctor Who is being preachy, right? It'd be interesting, right, if this was going on within a David Tennant series or a Matt Smith series. Would we be attacking it? I don't think that we would be. So I thought this was a really good episode. I absolutely adored Ryan in this episode. I thought Ryan was really, really good. Now, Graham didn't really do much, but what he did was kind of funny, and some people don't like him being this kind of comedy, sideline comedy piece. But also, there was a moment when someone mentioned losing someone in Graham's face, and Bradley did it great. He really looked upset. Now, I want to apologise to you guys, because I did a Doctor Who video, and I thought I was doing a synopsis for this very episode. It turns out I was doing a synopsis for next week's episode, which looks really, really, really good, when the companions are going to relive their worst nightmares. So I'm really excited for that one. I really am. And I also predicted that there'll be some commentary on the Lone Cyberman in this episode that we just saw, and it didn't happen. Apologies for that as well. But getting back to this episode, now Yaz, I mean, this is going to shock people, but Yaz is the interesting one in this episode where she gets really brave. She wants to go back for that piece of tech. What is going on with Yaz? A lot of people saying, what's Yaz's secret? Well, if you go back to Spyfall, and I can't remember, was it part 1 or 2, she was sucked into that thing and trapped, do you remember? I think something's happened to Yaz. Something monumental. I don't know if she's merged minds with the Master, or she is the Master now. I also have a little theory about this Master. I think we're going to see different versions of the Master, like we're seeing different versions of the Doctor. Don't be surprised if we see another actor or maybe even Yaz portraying the Doctor. That'd be interesting. So I think something's going on there. I think it is connected to what happened in Spyfall, and I do feel that's what her secret is. Why did she recognise what was going on with that gadget, that piece of tech? What does she know, right? Why would she know? She really was interested in it. So something is going on with Yaz, something really exciting, and we still don't know who's surviving. I expect fundamental changes for season 13 in terms of the companions. Do I think that Graham, Yaz, and Graham, I just said his name, Ryan, and I forgot it. That's how bad I am with names, right? But yeah, I think they could get rid of all three. But if anyone survives, I think it'll be Graham, because I think he's got a really good personal relationship with Chris Chibnall. They worked on Law and Order together, so I don't think he'll be the one to go. I think that the lad who plays Ryan has got a really interesting role in a new miniseries, actually. That's a lot of commentary about police brutality and racism. Looking forward to that. So I would say that he's definitely going. And we saw that clip, which we haven't seen the episode of, when he questions Yaz and says, how long do we do this for? So I'm excited to see how his exit works. It looks like he will go. I also feel that Yaz and Ryan will both go. I've just got a feeling. I definitely think the young woman whose name escapes me, forgetting names again, I think she may be involved. But I think maybe all three of them could be replacing the current three. And definitely a different dynamic, maybe even, dare I say, a more interesting dynamic. So we'll see what happens with the companions. But I think, and they said, come and see us again. So a little hint. But I mean, everyone says that to the Doctor. Now, Jodie Whittaker's performance. You know what it is with Jodie? Sometimes in her performances, I see her being totally the Doctor. And I think I'm getting this Doctor now. Then she does something and I think, no, I'm not feeling it. And you know what? This is not just something I get with Jodie. I got this in the early days of Matt Smith. I just said I loved season 5, but sometimes I loved him as the Doctor, and I said, you really are the Doctor. But then he'd do something, he'd have an expression. I think, no, I'm not feeling your Doctor. And it's the same thing with Jodie. And so it's still going to get, because she's a really different type of a Doctor. She's a very she's not David Tennant's, she's not Matt Smith, she's not Eccleston. All the Doctors are different and should be different, but her Doctor is really different in the way she approaches things. And again, it's not as exciting as New Who has been in the past in terms of the Doctor. It's definitely a kid-friendly, look and read, follow me, and learn something type of Doctor. And it's just a different way of doing things. I think season 13 will be her last year. I don't know if Chibnall will survive season 13 or if he'll be replaced after that as well. I think a trilogy of seasons would be great. It would suit the BBC, and then they can kind of regenerate the show again. That's what I'm looking at anyway. But it will be interesting. No one's made any comments about who's going to be doing the 60th anniversary. But then I have another theory that Chibnall's got these big plans for the 60th. Who knows? I mean, they didn't seem to have a long-haul plan for the 50th. And that was very problematic. And we got to season 7 and nothing much was really going on in the year that it was the 50th anniversary. Now, they made up for it in the Day of the Doctor, but that seemed very quickly cobbled together. And it didn't really seem to be a long-running plan. And Stephen only kind of hinted to anything about the Day of the Doctor in the very last scene of The Name of the Doctor, of course. So it's very interesting to see what's going on there. But what did you think of Praxeus? If I got the title of the episode wrong, I do apologise. I'm going to give this a solid 6 out of 10. Not the best Doctor Who you've ever seen. It's a solid self-contained episode. It's what all series TV does. You have the big episodes and you have the smaller episodes. And this is what Doctor Who's going to be under Chris Chibnall. And you're going to have to take it or leave it. And some people are leaving it, some people are bitching about it, but I'm excited for this era-defining arc he's doing for us. And I can't wait for episodes 9 and 10, but I'm also looking forward to next week and episode 8. Please like, share and subscribe. Please comment down below. Please share the channel and the video, and I'll be back later on in the week with even more Doctor Who content. I'm loving it.